Thanks for joining. We're going to cover the benefits of using a more streamlined technology like Outbuild to help actually ramp up folks that are newer, either to your company or even to the industry at large. So, a really pressing topic. Just to set the stage here, as I'm sure you're all well aware, there's a labor shortage in construction. And that is kind of like a double-sided thing. It's like not only is the existing labor force growing older as people do, and the median age of workers is increasing, that's not being replaced at the same rate by a fresh influx of new folks. We've got to attract new folks to come into construction. And part of all of the issue with this too is that with the existing folks we have, productivity could be better. If companies, especially if you're not getting great adoption of technologies, then your productivity is not at its max. And when you have less people, you really need to make sure those you have are being really efficient. And so the part of the solution to all of that is we want to attract new folks, make it easier for them to get involved, get started, and hit the ground running. In order to do that, we need to simplify some of our workflows, just make it easier to access, easier to learn. That also will help retain existing folks who are getting tired and burned out on overly complicated, overly tedious processes. And all of this together ultimately leads to improved productivity with the folks that you do have on your team. So we got you all in the room here today to talk with one of our customers here at Outbuild. Her name's Norma Lewis, and she's a project engineer at JCP. And she has a really interesting story because she is relatively new to construction. She came from permitting and plan review, so an arena that is adjacent to construction, but not quite the same as running a job site. And her perspective that we found really interesting was that she's learned that, people need information and answers fast. Things are moving fast. You need to be efficient. And Outbuild helps her to bring that efficiency to the communication and share the critical information across project teams and stakeholders. Even more interestingly, she did this with no background in scheduling. So Outbuild is user friendly enough that it enabled her to ramp up and start working on schedules as a project engineer, with, great time savings, being able to give everyone the visibility they need, fostering collaboration, and ultimately that means the project is performing better. I do have some sad news though. Unfortunately, Norma was not able to join us because something came up on one of her job sites, as we're all also very familiar with. So, of course, we have a backup plan. We're ready to pivot. Who we have today is two Outbuild experts who talk to customers and people who are evaluating Outbuild all day long. And so, Katrina and Ben, who will introduce themselves in a moment, they're going to serve as sort of proxies for talking to they're going to serve as sort of the voice for customers like Norma because they're talking to folks like this day in and day out. So we're still going to discuss the topic at hand, just with a little bit of a different group of presenters here. So I'll let Katrina and Ben introduce themselves to you so you know who they are. Katrina, why don't you go ahead and start?
Hey everybody, Katrina here. I am based out of Kansas City. I cover our Midwest, so Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, as well as Minnesota, and Indiana. So I cover those are the states that I'm over, and so chatting with GCs all day long, and looking forward to sharing a little bit more about how we're making it easy to use for first time, schedulers or new schedulers from a PM perspective or any type of scheduling background.
Thanks, Katrina. How about you, Ben?
Hey folks, my name's Ben. Maybe you've seen me in a training video or in an actual training, but I'm excited to be a part of this conversation today. A little bit biased here. I'm wearing the Outbuild shirt, but I think that Outbuild is a great tool. I know it's something that I wish I would have had when I was in the industry. Worked with a GC for a few years, worked with a subcontractor for a few years, got a lot of great experience there, but kind of chewed me up, spit me out. But I know that I would have been much more effective at my job with a tool like this. And I know there's some superintendents who would have appreciated me having this tool as well. So super excited to be part of the conversation today, and I'll hand it back over.
Thank you both for being here. And this will be great because, I mean, essentially you're serving as it's like you're a digest of hundreds of customers in one. So we'll try to share some good, real stories here and some interesting insights that you all have learned from talking to so many different customers experiencing the issues that we're going to talk about today. Um, I realize many of you may not actually be super familiar with Outbuild yet, so we're going to start with just a 5 minute, really brief overview of what Outbuild is, and then we'll get into the discussion of sort of the more pressing, broader labor challenge topic at hand. So I'm going to let Katrina take it away to give us that quick overview.
Yeah, absolutely. So, really, why, does the challenge of, scheduling really exist and why is it difficult? It's because what we're learning from the industry is that companies are really struggling with outdated software, right? And so that process to really manage your master schedule with also really planning and have your superintendents planning out in the field. There's typically a disconnect between our contract schedules and field coordination, and really it looks a little bit like this. You guys might see this out in your field here on the right-hand side. And then our master schedule is either, MS project, P6. And so we're really hearing that this disconnect between the schedule and field coordination is really what is causing the challenges, and just making sure that we're providing an easy to use solution to schedule more effectively and efficiently, where Outbuild being the kind of mainly focused on construction. And so everything inside of Outbuild is really meant for construction. And so what's happening is we are essentially taking this disconnected process from our contract schedule, and we're typically sending that out to the field with look ahead planning, either on Excel docs or sticky notes, or trying to do planning out in the field, where then we're sharing that PDF or that information with our subcontractors, and we're having that weekly foreman meeting just to make sure we're staying on track of everything. And then typically maybe every other week, or maybe even once a month, we get that schedule update back into the contract schedule, and we share that with our owner. And so Outbuild essentially is taking all of that information and putting it into one solution where we have unlimited projects, unlimited users, really to foster collaboration as well. And so that's essentially where a high level overview is, your contract schedule and your, look ahead planning are now connected in one place. Your look ahead is really informing your schedule here. PMs can go in and see the update from the field. Superintendents, just like Ben mentioned, are having an easy to use place to make sure we're tracking and planning and getting those subcontractor commitments inside of Outbuild, so everybody's on the same page all the time. And so really, once we get that plan scheduled, it's also, okay, what happens when things don't go to plan? It's not if, we already know it's when. Is, we can collaborate and create what we call roadblocks inside of Outbuild to make sure that superintendents can keep the green lights, keep the lights green out in the field, so our subs can continue to build according to that plan. And so really we see scheduling and planning coming in together and doing that in one location tandem. So that really, we hear a lot of the time where our teams, saying it's hard to update the schedule as well from the field due to that disconnect. And so we're really making it easy to get that field information back to the schedule, so we can schedule and update our schedules a lot easier. And so also having our schedule connected to Autodesk and Procore as well is something that we also do, making it kind of easy to update, everybody in either Procore or Autodesk with where that schedule is at as well.
Thanks, Katrina. And so the first question that I want to ask you on our broader topic is it's kind of interesting to take it from the perspective of thinking about newer or less experienced staff who are getting involved with scheduling, because we most commonly hear the concern about more established folks being the ones who might have trouble adopting a new system like Outbuild. Um, what concerns are you hearing, or what type of feedback or questions around newer or less experienced staff, especially when it comes to involving them in a new scheduling and planning software?
For me, I hear a lot around, teams are trying to standardize as well. So making sure that when somebody, new does come in, there's always already a set standard of how we schedule and how we plan in the field and how everybody gets updated. So I'm hearing a lot about, number one, of course, ease of use, but really PMs are scheduling in all different ways, using other solutions. And so being able to standardize and train, PMs on how we're scheduling with an easy to use solution is really key for what I'm hearing from the industry for sure.
Yeah, I've heard similar feedback as well around like making it so that any PM or project engineer can sort of hop on to any project without having to like relearn the process that is specific to that project. So
Yep.
that's definitely a big one. How about you, Ben? I'm sure, of course, you're seeing more established folks come into the implementation process, maybe feeling a little bit resistant, but are newer folks, newer to their teams, showing up in implementation as well?
Yeah. I deal with trainings all day, every day, deal with a ton of different teams. I work with team members who are really established and also lots of new hires as they come in. It's actually really refreshing to be able to give access to somebody who's a new hire. You don't have to pay for an extra license for them. We're able to teach them the clicks in the button or in the software, and then they're able to go out there and start scheduling very quickly. And I think a really key piece to kind of that unlimited number of users mindset is a transfer of knowledge. Now the established PM can be working with a newer PM or a PE who's new to the company. They can both be working on a schedule together. And that established PM can teach those standard processes at that specific company, while maybe the younger, the newer hire is really, maybe more advanced when it comes to using technology and help that more established PM be successful. So really fun to watch. Really enjoy it. So
Awesome. So, what would you say to someone who's newer to the industry, um, maybe feeling a little hesitant to raise their hand for stuff, feeling like they shouldn't be involved? Maybe they're not familiar with the more complex traditional methods of scheduling. What would you say to someone like that about, what you think their level of involvement should be in either an outbuild evaluation or implementation or both?
I'll speak to that one a little bit. Something that I highlight in all of my trainings is we run into um, people who have tried to capture the entire scope on a schedule, and they get very, very detailed. And that is not a bad approach, but it becomes very complicated as the project progresses. And so what's nice about Outbuild is because we have that connected look ahead, we have that focus on highly detailed plans reserved for the field. It allows the entire scheduling process to be simplified when it comes to building that contract schedule out. So it allows, I don't know, it allows more trust for those people coming in when they are building a schedule. They're not have they can better understand what a critical path is because they can track a critical path on 300 line items instead of 3,000 line items. It just allows that speed of learning to improve because they're not getting too in the weeds.
And you're not asking someone who's pretty green to have a crystal ball for how every single
Exactly.
subtask is going to play out in the field.
Even if you have a crystal ball, you don't know how it's going to play out. And so we reserve that for the field. So yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so question to both of you on this general topic of technology that's making processes easier and it's easy to adopt the technology itself. What are some of the most memorable reactions that you've seen from people, either when they first see Outbuild in action or when they first get their hands on it?
I'll start because I have a recent one just from Monday. So I was doing I'm in a trial with the GC, and this is really the first time that two superintendents were looking at the look ahead. And we were talking about just being able to move, their Gantt bar around as well. And so from the field, I think their aha moment was twofold. One, that they were, whenever they moved something from the like around in the field, it automatically updated their PM. So they didn't have to, make sure that they, followed up with multiple emails, etc. Everything on the plan out in the field was automatically already updated so that the PM knew, hey, if there was any, change to the schedule, since we're talking about scheduling here, but also I do hear a lot of things around how simple and easy our predecessor successors linking activities on the schedule. And so from a superintendent, perspective, it really is, hey, like I can just update the schedule with what I'm doing out in the field here in real time. And then from a PM, it's really saying, hey, uh, the easy to use linking capability and outbuild just allows them to be able to understand their schedule and move things around a lot easier.
Ben, any super memorable reactions? You've probably seen quite a few at this point, maybe some
Yeah.
recent ones.
One that comes to mind is I get the opportunity to work with a lot of field teams, and some of these folks don't like seeing a new technology coming in. They don't like changing their process. They see me on the other side of a computer screen, like this guy's blowing smoke. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is just another tool they're throwing at us. Um, Once we've moved through that look ahead training and we've talked about, you hit the plus button to add a task. You assign it to a company, you put in a duration, and then it's like, okay, that's nice, but I can do that in Excel. When we share, here's how you progress things. So now you don't have that double entry. Now you're not translating between these two documents at your monthly updates. That's been powerful. And then how they can share that just via iPad or the computer of just the PDF of that look ahead, how they can filter it down for a subcontractor, kind of seeing their eyes light up like, oh, now I can really hold them accountable. Now they can't come back and say, I'm confused, because they can show this is your look ahead. Every single task is yours because it's filtered down. Um, seeing the wheels start turning on that is always really fun.
You get to have all the fun, getting people to kind of like see the light for real.
Yeah, yeah. It's sometimes
Um,
we're in a dark tunnel for a while, but
on that note, could you give us just a quick flyby of how teams typically get started without build? Like, what does a typical training and implementation process look like?
yeah, I'd be happy to share that. So the framework that I try to follow and I've seen a lot of success with is we are a collaborative tool, so we want everybody in the room. We want to have project managers, PE, superintendents, all part of the same trainings so that they can answer each other's questions. They can establish new processes as we go through it. And then what that looks like is typically, for me, it's 3 1-hour trainings, really focusing on the connection of your schedule and your look ahead in that first training. Second training focuses on the look ahead and introduces your integrations, whether that's Procore or Autodesk. And then that third and final training is just an open Q&A. So that is where I fill in any gaps in your knowledge and any understanding that you might have. And then we try to space those over 3 weeks so they have the opportunities to get in there and start using it. That is a good starting point, but each project has its own challenges. So as they come up, we support those as well.
Awesome. And for those of you who are curious, yes, you are very likely to end up working with Ben. It kind of depends on where you're based in the country, but we have a couple of his counterparts too that are real humans who will take you through the process.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to ask just one more kind of final question, and then I'd love to leave a couple minutes for Q&A in case anyone in the audience wants to raise their hand. I'd love both of your kind of closing thoughts on this general topic of using better technology and better process to attract, not only support your existing staff who have been around for a while, but to actually attract younger folks. So, what are, in your opinion, what's the opportunity here for using technology to get more participation, more buy-in, more involvement, especially from newer folks to the industry? We all know it's a kind of a tough niche industry to break into. Takes years and years to be really expert. So, what is the opportunity here with Outbuild in terms of attracting folks that might be feeling a little bit nervous about breaking into construction?
That's a good question. I'll answer first since I spoke first. So, from I actually was chatting with a PE at a GC in Michigan, and um, one of the ease of use aspects is really key for attracting, young talent, or also being at one of the conferences. There were a lot of students that came up to our booth and were telling me about how, Outbuild, just looking at it, comparison to what they were taught in school or what they've been using, on projects at their university, and their immediate kind of aha moments of having it be easy to use. Their first initial thing is like, why don't we know about this? Why didn't I, like, learn about this earlier? It's so much easier than, you know, X, scheduling tool that I've learned in school. And so the ease of use and being able to um, scheduling and planning is complex already. We don't need software anymore to make it even more complex. And so I think that's really the key in regards to Outbuild and using Outbuild is building is already complex. And so hoping that we can make it easier on our teams to be more collaborative and easy to use is where we see that benefit.
Yeah. And I'll kind of piggyback on that. I think the opportunities with this is as we move forward, just through time and anything, the industries are everything's kind of moving web-based. Everybody wants an app, everybody wants that kind of familiar feeling when they're using technology. And I think Outbuild captures that. We're web-based, you can get login super easily, it's unlimited users. And then simply our approach allows it to be more simple. We are construction focused. We preach all, or at least I preach all day, every day. Keep your schedules simple. The more detail that you put in there, it might make you feel safe right now, but you're making it more complex later on. And then there's a big opportunity when it comes to transfer of knowledge. When I was in the industry, I learned about submittals once I realized I had not submitted mine on time. And so allowing, the rest of your team to inform you about items that are coming up, whether that's coming from the field or other project managers, is really critical. And we have tools in place that are simple to use in Outbuild that help you achieve that. But I think just opening up that visual, I feel like most people in construction are probably visual learners. Using this visual tool to transfer knowledge between the field and the office, I think is really powerful. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. It's a really good 2 cents. Thank you both so much for your insights. I'm so sorry to everyone who was hoping to hear from Norma. So here's what we're going to do. When we are able to sit down with her and chat, we will make sure to give you all another opportunity to hear from her directly. In the meantime, you might be kind of curious to poke around with Outbuild a little bit more. So the best way to do this is to sign up for a free trial. So if you follow this QR code here, you can sign up. You can be in your Outbuild account in a minute, and you can go ahead and start poking around at the Gantt schedule, the look ahead, and experiencing all that functionality for yourself. No credit card required. It's a low commitment way to test it out. I'll also send a short demo video as well for those who prefer to just watch a video. We do have one question that came in so far, so if anyone else wants to throw any questions in the Q&A, we'll take those before we wrap up. Claudia was asking if there is an academic license. Claudia, we have someone on our team who's kind of focused on academic partnerships, so I will have her reach out to you directly. Is there anybody else who has a question for our experts here before we wrap up? I'll take that as a no. Thank you all so much for your time. I'll be sending some follow-up info. And like I mentioned, if we manage to get Norma off the, project emergency she's dealing with and onto the horn, then we'll be sure to share her insights with you all as well. So thank you so much for attending. Have a
Thanks,
great
everyone.
Thank you,
day.
everyone.
See ya.
Bye bye.